Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Nelly. There's a lot of couples that are into long distance relationship, not because they want to. Maybe it's because of career choice or maybe school. For some, it's a choice. Today's video, we're going to be talking about long distance relationship, how you can make it work. There's no secret when it comes to long distance relationship. It's probably the most difficult thing to do. You may feel you know someone until you get to spend time with them. And then you realize, who is this person? This is not the person I know. And when you are married, you also realize you don't know this person quite well. Because when it comes to marriage, there are certain things that you'll even discover after 10 years of marriage. A lot of couples that are into long distance relationship, it could be sometimes they know each other or maybe they don't. Maybe you've met online and you're still trying to get to know this person. Sometimes when you meet somebody online, they can just pretend as much as they want to, and you will never get to know until you get to meet, and maybe now you're married and you begin to stay together and you realize this is not the person I knew. When you've met somebody online, maybe it's one of those dating sites, they come to a point where you have to stop looking and focus on the relationship. And also, once you see that this relationship is going somewhere, they have to remove themselves from those date sites and focus on the relationship. This is now when you have to make your relationship official. You have to start from the beginning. When you both know that this relationship is official, you have to start from the beginning in building a strong foundation. Every relationship needs that strong foundation from the beginning. Talk about everything and communicate with each other. I know sometimes maybe when you've met each other online, there's some things that you are not able to discuss. When you get to meet, you need to talk about everything and communicate and be open to each other, your likes and dislikes. And also give the person assurance where you are. I'm not saying you should report everything that you do, but let the other person know where your whereabouts. Because when it comes to long distance relationship, it also makes it very difficult for the other person, especially when they're trying to get hold of you and you're not available. The person starts having those doubts. And yet, maybe there's a reason why you're not picking up your phone. That is why I'm saying you need to make sure that you're communicating. It makes the other person feel more relaxed. Especially if you're going to give the other person assurance of your whereabouts. You're not lying all the time. You're not saying you're where you are and yet you're not where you are. It gives the other person a bit of peace of mind. You don't want to be involved with somebody that lies all the time. Especially if the circumstances where you are, you don't get to see them all the time. Or maybe you just cannot pick up a car and drive to that place, or maybe fly. This is not building a strong foundation. In fact, that person would begin not to trust you. Remember, this relationship, it has to go through the 4 seasons. There will be times when it's very difficult. But when that person has got a peace of mind, you'll be able to sustain those 4 seasons. And the next, you need to make sure that you're committed to one another. There's nothing worse than being in a long distance relationship and the one person is not committed to you. You're the one driving this vehicle all the time. It's like you're the one making sure that you're doing the phone calls. You're the one making sure that you're doing the texts, doing those voice messages. You're the one that's always arranging one thing. Not one person has to do everything. It's a two-way thing. A person can create a mask from the beginning of the relationship, and you don't know what type of person they are. Especially if you're not even married, you're just in courtship. A person can create that mask and you are going to believe it. Eventually, with that mask, they will show their true self. This is when it's too late. Maybe you are now married and they begin to show who they really are. Because when you are in a long distance relationship, most of the time you're talking on the phone, talk about everything. That person can create that mask of the things that you want in a man. You don't know them until you get to stay with them. Maybe this person is a type of person that has some ritual in the morning, and you think to yourself, I won't be able to stand that. That is why it's very important to see each other from time to time so that you can know what type of person they are. You need to be yourself as well. Don't do things in order to impress them, because when you do that, you are also creating that mask. If eventually there are things that you won't be able to do anymore, because if from the beginning you are creating that mask that you are not. Eventually you get tired. When you are committed to one another, you get to know about your partner. This is when you have to ask questions, get to know what they likes and dislikes. There are times when this long distance relationship has to come to an end. Discuss how long are you going to be on the long distance relationship for. This is when you have to discuss about marriage as well, when you're not married yet. Because when it comes to courtship, this is a time when you ask questions and discuss a lot of things. It's not a time where you have to be intimate. Intimacy is the last thing that should come into your mind. Remember, if you are the type that met online, you don't know each other. All you know is talking to each other through the phone. That also helps because it builds a certain communication level. Sometimes you need to get to know this person physically. Discuss about relocation as well. If that person is in another country or in a different town, discuss about who's going to relocate. When you are married, usually the wife joins the husband, but if the husband is fine with joining the wife, that's okay as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Remember, that person is leaving their comfort zone to be with you. So you need to make preparations for that person. At least make it comfortable for them. Make it comfortable in the way that when they come and settle where you are, if it's possible to help them towards getting a job, maybe you can also do that as well. When you are in a long distance relationship, sometimes you need to avoid getting distractions. Keep yourself busy. Because remember, this person that you want to get married to someday is on the other side of town or on the other side of the world. Sometimes it can be very lonely, or maybe hang out with wrong people, that you find yourself doing things that you never planned to do because of loneliness. That is why it's very important to keep yourself busy. If it's not work, find something to do over the weekends as well, because distractions will come and temptation as well will come, especially when you've got friends that are single. You are all alone, and those friends of yours are single. They can do whatever they want to do. When you have too much time to yourself, you'll find yourself doing things that will affect this relationship in the long run. That is why it's very important to keep busy. It may start slowly that you're killing boredom. Eventually it becomes permanent. Trust is very important when it comes to long distance relationship. You need to be honest to your partner and to yourself as well. Once you start lying, you have to keep creating more lies to cover up your last lie. So trust is very important in a long distance relationship. And be positive as well to have that peace. When you have that positive mindset, it's very important to give you peace in your spirit. When you start having no peace, you eventually have those insecurities. This is when you also become uncomfortable because you're miles away apart. When you try and call him and he doesn't pick up the phone, your mind starts racing with your insecurity. Having that peace is the most precious thing that you can do. When you don't have that peace, this is when you have to ask the Holy Spirit, why are you feeling the way you are feeling? Sometimes it's not always about infidelity. It could be that you're struggling as well with your emotions. As much as you spend time on the phone, you also need to be creative about that. This is possible, it can be done. Maybe watch a match or a movie together, or even pray together, even though you're in separate homes. You just do things together. Those moments will make you feel like you're together even though you're in separate places. I know my daughter is not here with me. What we do is we plan a movie night together. We could both be on the phones and still be watching the same movie together and communicate via the phone. I know it's very difficult and much better when you're close to each other, but sometimes it's not possible. So you have to make it as creative as you can. Sometimes she could just be cooking and I will help her out on how, as much as I am not there with her, but it feels like we're together. So you can do the same as well with your partner. With the technology that we have today, in fact, it makes you feel like they're there with you. Also, you need to communicate about your future plans. Getting to know each other is to know about what are their plans for the future? What is their mission? This is getting to know each other's visions and mission when it comes to the relationship. Discuss about how often you're going to see each other. If you are in different cities, at least you can give each other 3 months. Don't drag it over 3 months. But if you're in different countries, you need to discuss about that as well. It's very important to know when are you going to meet up next. Remember, if you're not married, you need to make that effort to see each other, because eventually, if you don't make that effort, one of you will eventually lose hope. You don't want to be in a relationship where you don't know when you eventually see each other. You are not looking forward to this relationship because you don't know when you're going to eventually meet. One of you has to make that effort, or both of you have to try and make that effort to see each other. Because you're not even married, it's easier for that person to find somebody else to fill up that space that you are not filling up. So that is why if you are committed in this relationship, you should commit all the way. Don't let it drag for years without getting to see each other. Make that commitment and make plans to get married as soon as you can. And when you eventually get to meet, sometimes you need to plan that holiday. This is when you're now comfortable with each other. Planning a holiday is just to see how you can both cope outside your comfort zone. This is when you can also discuss some things that you cannot discuss in your comfort zone, where there's no distractions of family members and friends. Because a neutral place as well is a way of getting to know each other deeper without even getting intimate or bringing your family members in your space. That is why sometimes a neutral place is the best place you can talk about everything. When you both show that you can make it work, that can happen. It may be difficult at times, but you have to have that vision on what you both want towards this relationship. You both can make it work, and nothing is impossible. You know, when it comes to long distance relationships, they are not easy. But at least you know that your communication will be built. So you need to work out on the other things. Thank you for watching. If this is content that you like, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. God bless you.